Hi there, my name's Monique. Did you want some water or coffee or something to drink?
No, I'm okay. Thanks, though.
Okay. So I just want to go over confidentiality, just to kind of advise you of, what your rights are in the session and the privacy and confidentiality. Everything in the session today is kept between us unless there are any concerns about harm towards yourself or others, or if there are any child welfare concerns. If that's the case, then we'll discuss that. If we need to take it outside of the agency. Otherwise, it just stays between us today. And we have roughly an hour.
Okay.
So, yeah. Did you have any questions?
Not really, no.
Okay. So I guess I'm just curious, what brought you here today?
Well, I've been, I guess, just having a hard time maybe dealing with things, and I'm just feeling a bit upset on not really knowing how to deal with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't really know if I'm doing a good enough job at maintaining or handling stuff on my own, so it's kind of why I'm here.
Okay. So it sounds like there's kind of some questions that are unanswered, or you're kind of feeling a little bit lost?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned that there were some things that you were, kind of dealing with that have been troubling. Can you tell me what some of those things are?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's pretty standard stuff. I just tried to apply or get into a program for school that I was interested in, and it's not working out, and I just feel like that was kind of my last opportunity, and right now I'm working and it's not really enough, and I just don't think that I'm making any progress, so that's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, so you tried to get into a program and you weren't accepted into it?
Yeah.
Okay, that must have been really hard to, really difficult news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having having hopes and something like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I just put a lot into it, and I guess maybe I should have thought about it a bit more and thought about a backup plan. I just thought it was a guarantee, maybe tricked myself or willed myself to believe that it was going to be enough, and it's not. So it's just really disappointing to find out that I'm not good enough for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can understand why you'd feel like pretty bad about not being able to getting accepted into a program. And I think when stuff like that happens, sometimes there's different feelings in a company that with not feeling like we're successful or that we're able to accomplish things. But yeah, I can understand why you might be feeling that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a big thing. And then kind of we have aspirations, or we have ideas of where we want to go in the future, and then when we find out that we can't do that, I think sometimes that feels like a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of have, there's a lot of feelings that accompany those feelings of loss as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, how are you feeling about all this stuff?
Oh, I just feel like I put everything on that and had everything riding on that as a ticket out of my situation, and I just don't have a lot of stability or people to depend on, so that was kind of like what I was trying to be, and now I don't get to be that person, and it really is.
Oh, okay.
That's what's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Because no one else is around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's more kind of riding on that, or connected to that. Yeah. Okay. So that's a really, really hard thing to have to to go through. So how are you kind of coping with those feelings that you're having? I know you mentioned that you're feeling really kind of upset and
Yeah, I guess maybe coping in the sense that I'm not really dealing with it unless I'm by myself. I don't really want to include a lot of people on what's going on, so it's just easier to try to maintain things like positively with friends and stuff like that, and not really think about how what I'm going through or try to explain it to anybody else. It doesn't really seem like it's worth it. I'd rather just keep it to myself.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's probably why it's maybe harder. I just don't want to bug anybody with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're feeling kind of like it's a burden.
Yeah.
It might be a burden to people.
That's a better way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you know, even though there might be some people in your life that you know can approach about things, that the supports might maybe feel like they're kind of limited right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like I guess the expectations of me like to be a certain person in people's lives is like different than what like they are for me. So I think that's like it's difficult. I don't really have any people around or family around. I just I guess just been really depressed about the situation, and don't really want to admit that to myself because I just feel like that's just giving up, but I can't really deny that that's how I feel, and I've just never been that upset or that low that I just kind of wanted to not be around anybody and hide away from things and not really deal with it since this happened. Missed work and don't really feel like going anywhere
Oh, okay.
or
So
seeing certain people because it's just like why you're just gonna know, and I don't want to have to explain myself anymore. I'm tired of it.
yeah.
Tired of having to talk.
Okay. So you're feeling like you're depressed right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So I'm just curious, how long have you been feeling this way for?
I guess maybe a little bit always. It's just kind of something I maybe dealt with better before, but now it's just kind of it's taken it over everything else, and it's like it's just my personality now. Like people notice, and I don't want it to be, but it's just how it is. And I guess it's been going on for like I don't know, a couple months maybe
Yeah.
longer.
So you mentioned kind of always kind of feeling that way or feeling that way for a while, but I'm just as far as like what that depression is maybe connected to right now, or what those feelings that you're having right now. Like you mentioned feeling that way more a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is that around the time that you found out you were accepted in the program?
Yeah, I would say so. It's like, I mean, before it was just like a lot of anxiety and stress, but I was still like hopeful and felt like there was like something to look forward to, and now it just doesn't feel like there's really anything, and that paired with like, being expected to do a lot of things and not really doing them, and it's been kind of problematic.
Okay.
I guess that's what's kind of made it worse, or maybe retreat more, or I just don't really want to admit that I'm dealing with those symptoms or feeling like depressed, but it just that's just I prefer to be alone and
to kind of isolate yourself from some stuff.
Yeah.
Feel easier sometimes.
It just seems easier than like actually talking about it.
Yeah. So, these feelings that you're having right now, I'm just curious, how much are they interfering with your life and your daily functioning?
I guess, like I said, I missed like work sometimes, and I just said that I wasn't feeling well, and it's kind of got to the point that now like they know I'm not like sick, like I'm not like I don't have like a flu or like I'm actually would be something else going on, but it's just I don't really want to have to admit that it's like this, and kind of let that take away that part of the only thing I have really left is my job. So
yeah, I think sometimes too when someone's like experiencing these difficult emotions, or they're struggling, or they're kind of suffering, or in a really difficult period in their lives, especially if we've been diagnosed, or like we have these different ways that we explain our feelings, it can feel like they're really just like it's us, and it's like it's part of us, and it's not separate, and sometimes it's kind of helpful to view your whatever you're struggling with is separate from you. So there's you, and you have your strengths, and you have your abilities, and it doesn't define you, and to kind of externalize the stuff that's problematic in your life, or the stuff that you're experiencing, not like something that you're living with as opposed to something that you are.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes nice to kind of think of it that way rather than having it kind of, totally determine like who we are and
like it's not a part of the personality. It's kind of just like something that's going on, and maybe separate the two. That's a good way to put it. I guess before the job thing, or the work thing, with like, getting sick or whatever, it was kind of like a good place to be, and now people see me differently and see me as like being that person who's upset.
Right.
And then with like before the school thing, I guess it was just difficult then, but it wasn't necessarily who I was. Like I wasn't that sad person. I was like someone that had an idea or like something to look forward to, and now that was taken away, but it still shouldn't be like who I am. It's just something I'm going through, I guess. It's hard to see it that way sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we get, it sounds like everything that's going on, it's understandable, that you would kind of like be feeling like that hopelessness, and it, when you're really, really in that, like really in that depression or that, sadness and struggling that hard, it can definitely feel that way. I can understand that for sure. So I just want to check in with safety too, because, describing depression with everything that's going on right now, have you had any thoughts of suicide?
I guess, it's crossed my mind, I guess. I'd be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind sometimes, but I've seen what it does to people, and I've been in enough situations where I realistically haven't, let it go much further than that, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say you haven't let it go much further than that, do you mean that, you've only had thoughts, or has it ever gone beyond thoughts where you've maybe, formulated any plans, or?
I thought about, maybe taking more stuff than I should have. Sometimes I, can't sleep, and so I take something to help me sleep, and thought about taking more stuff, but never actually, willingly or wanted to actually follow through with that. It just, the thoughts crossed my mind, I guess.
So the intent's not really there.
Yeah, I don't, as silly as it sounds, probably, I would be too afraid, anyways.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not actually, I feel like that's not as far as I'd let it go.
So how often do you feel like, when you're feeling really depressed and those thoughts are they very persistent? And how often do you have them?
They're persistent in a worse moment than another moment. Sometimes it's just I'd rather be somewhere else, but I'd just rather be somewhere else. Sometimes I'd rather be somewhere else by me not being here at all. That's the defining difference, is what the day's been like.
Yeah.
So lately it's been worse, but other times it's not been that bad.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really I just kind of want to let you know how I can see how insightful you are about that, and kind of and there's some self-awareness there, and kind of realizing what you're feeling in the moment. That's really important to kind of to be reflective of that, and to be so aware of yourself. So that's good. I just wanted to commend you on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you have a history of suicidal thoughts or any suicide attempts at all?
No, not necessarily. I think probably just in the last few years it's been maybe more just thoughts on a pretty infrequent basis, I guess, but just in the past, since everything's happened, kind of come together in a bad way. I guess it's just been a lot harder to not think like that, and especially now that I spend so much time alone.
Okay. Yeah, that would have a lot to do with it. So speaking of that, you mentioned having kind of limited supports, or not really feeling like you're comfortable reaching out to certain people, or to family, friends, more informal kind of supports. So I think we have a little bit of time left. If we can just formulate a safety plan, and kind of develop some kind of ideas as to what you can do if you're beginning to feel that way, to kind of get yourself out of that a little bit, or
Sorry, my alarm's going off.
it's okay. Or to like kind of help you feel better. So that can kind of come in the in the form of coping. Developing some coping strategies, and also and I can suggest some resources or some things that you can do if you're feeling that way, since the supports maybe feel kind of limited right now.
Yeah, I don't really feel like maybe expecting too much from other people, so like anything I could do to avoid that would be good, and just kind of figure it out myself or here
Okay.
will be better.
Okay, so since this is drop-in counseling, like this is a one-time thing today. You're welcome to come here again if needed. If you need to talk to someone about what's going on in person, and also, have you heard of the crisis lines?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, have you called the crisis lines before?
No, I never really thought to ever call. Kind of just figured like there's maybe more people that needed it.
Oh, okay. So, well, the thing about, our problems is that people have different varying degrees of what's going on. It could be more crisis oriented, or it could be just kind of you need to cope and you need to talk with someone. So there's no problem, too small just to be able to if you're feeling that way. A lot of the stuff that you're feeling recently, it might be helpful to talk to someone even over the phone. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yeah, now that I know it's like an option, I didn't really know like what the extent of what it meant, but yeah, that's definitely a better option.
Okay.
It's just better than really kind of letting people in on that level than figuring it out myself a little first before I start talking to my friends and family, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you can come back here and call the crisis lines, and I'll give you the numbers for that after. I'll go grab them right away. And as far as coping, and self-care, and just developing some ways that, you could do different things to kind of take care of yourself. And it can be like a seemingly small or insignificant thing, but just small things to kind of take care of yourself.
Yeah, I kind of see like hanging out with friends and family that way. That's why it's hard for me to like talk about stuff with them sometimes. But I feel like that's like a good way to get in a better mood. Is hanging out with like people that I'm close to, like my sister or like some of my good friends. And
yeah, that's great. That's wonderful.
Like, then I can talk to them, but it just takes a little bit.
Yeah.
Of effort.
Okay, so that's something that kind of feels like an option sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It just takes a bit more than. Takes a bit more effort sometimes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go grab you those that information on the number for the crisis line, and
the number's cool.
yeah. All right. Okay. I'll be right back.